Roman Jakobson was born in Russia in 1896. Completed his PhD in Prague and later worked as a professor in the United States. He belonged to the Moscow Linguistic Circle and Prague Linguistic Circle. He expanded the borders of linguistics to incorporate such areas as phonetics, semantics, poetics, Slavic studies, language acquisition, pathology, and mythology. Jakobson was among the most influential linguists of the century, influenced by the work of Ferdinand de Saussure. Jakobson developed with Nikolai Trubetskoy techniques for the analysis of sound systems in language, inaugurating the discipline of phonology. He proposed methods for communication theory, cybernetics, the investigation of poetry, music, the visual arts, and cinema. The linguistics of the time were neo-grammarian and insisted that the only scientific study of language was to study history and development of words across the time, the diachronic approach, in Saussure terms. Jakobson, on the other hand, had come into contact with the work of Ferdinand de Saussure and developed an approach focused on the way in which language's structure served its basic function, synchronic approach, to communicate information between speakers. Jakobson was also well known for his critique of the emergence of sounding field. Roman Jakobson defined 6 functions of language, or communication functions, according to which an effective act of verbal communication can be described. Each of the functions has an associated factor. For this work, Jakobson was influenced by Karl Buller's organ model, to which he added the poetic, phathic, and metalingual functions. Elements from Buller's theory appear in the diagram in yellow and pink, Jakobson's elaborations in blue. The referential function is all about describing. Can you describe what you see, what's happening around you, and how you feel? These are all important can, do's that facilitate communication in every context imaginable. Consider you arrive in a new country and need to tell airport officials your luggage is not present. You really need your luggage because you have a train to catch. You will be so happy if they would just find your luggage. Description of a place, even or state, is what you need to remember about the referential function. Example: it's a beautiful day. The emotic function describes expressing something. Interjections and expressions of your emotional state help make language use more real and personal. The kinetic function is concerned with commanding. We all like to order people around, but do you feel confident enough in your target language used to try out the imperative? It may be a command like, "Tom, come inside and eat." A warm phrase like, "Go on, open it," when you hand a gift to your host family, or it could be a safety concern such as, "Don't touch, it's dangerous." Either way, imperatives are a great way to get someone's attention. The phathic function means engaging for the sake of conversation. Do you know how to make a small talking chat sheet with people in line? How about in French? Discussing the weather, the sports, or the traffic. And knowing how to start and stop polite conversation is an essential skill for a language learning. The metalingual function requires analyzing language. Can you describe the new grammar rule you've just learned using the target language? Language used to discuss language can be tricky, but it really is the only way to escape your mother tongue and fully immerse yourself in another register. Try setting your dictionary to French and you will get used to it in no time. The poetic function is about choosing your words wisely. How careful are you when you speak? Do you attempt to be eloquent, or are words just words? Often, as we improve our command over the language, crafting a message for the sake of the words itself can be a fun and poetic way to put new vocabulary to use. It also helps us develop an appreciation for the literary and spoken word tradition for the tertiary culture and is essential in higher levels of communication. Language use is an evolving skill. The more practice you get, the more highly developed all of Jakobson's functions will become. Jakobson believes that the meaning lies with the signifier and not in the signified. This sentence, I like her cooking, it can be understood in different ways, but the words are the same. Thus, it is the linguistic verbal sign that gives an object its meaning. Interpretation of verbal sign according to Roman Jakobson can happen in three ways: intralingual, interlingual, and intersemiotic. In the case of intralingual translation, the changes take place within the same language. For example, a verbal sign or a word belonging to a particular language is replaced by another sign or word belonging to the same language. Interlingual translation, on the other hand, can be seen as replacing a verbal sign with another sign but belonging to a different language. The last kind of explanation of verbal signs that he talks about is the intersemiotic translation. Here, more than focusing on the words, emphasis is on the overall message that needs to be conveyed. Thus, the translator, instead of paying attention to the verbal sign, concentrates more on the information that is to be delivered. He went on to apply the same techniques of analysis to syntax and morphology, and controversially proposed that they be extended to semantics.
Finally, Roman Osipovich Jakobson died on July 18, 1982.